Demonstrate how to adjust your wastegate rod. This is necessary when you're going up and above over 17 pounds of boost. Most 2017 turbos are going to want to do this step. The factory is meant to open at a certain amount and not go over a certain amount of boost kind of no matter what. So that's what we're trying to get around. With these bigger tunes, it really makes a difference. If you don't do this, you're going to be pushing a lot of hot air around. You're not going to be creating much power because your wastegate's going to be partially open. Your turbo's going to try and compensate for that, and it's not going to be able to do it. So you're going to get really hot turbo and not that great of performance. So you want to do this, especially on 2017 turbos or any 2016 turbo running a level 4 tune or higher. This is a really good step to do. It's not that hard. It takes just a few minutes, and you can see your wastegate rod actuator right up in here. That's the end of it. And really we don't do a lot from this side. We'll show you on the next side. So over here we actually removed our actuator hose. There's a clamp on the end of that's pretty tough to get off. Your typical factory clamp. Use side cutters to kind of pry it off and get it off. Make sure you don't damage the nipple coming off that actuator. It's very cheap, very easy to break, bend, and don't want to see you have to get a whole new turbo just because you did that. So just be careful with it when you're pulling it off. They can be a little stubborn, but not too bad. What I've done is I attached another hose here to my Mighty Vac, to the positive pressure side of my Mighty Vac, and pump this up. And what this does is actually moves the wastegate rod and shoves the whole wastegate to the full open position, which is what you need to properly get at the two lock nuts on the wastegate actuator rod. So I'm going to show you that here in just a second. Removed our seats and our access panel so we can easily get in here. And I've actually bent back the heat shield just a bit. We can bend this back after we're done, but for right now it needs to be pushed over to gain access. So you come in here, and on the left side you can see there's our actuator rod, and there's this mount right here that normally would be covering that right nut there. So by hooking up our Mighty Vac and applying positive pressure to that, pushing the wastegate rod over, we can gain access nicely to both the locking nuts. So basically you want to take an 18mm wrench on the middle adjuster piece, hold that, and then take a short 13mm wrench on each of, just do one at a time, but on each of the other nuts and go upward with them. If you go upward with your wrench, that'll loosen the nuts. Downward will actually tighten them. So make sure you go in the right direction there. Get those nuts good and loose, so you back them off quite a ways. And we want to turn this adjuster in here. The top would be going forward towards the motor, and that'll actually make the rod shorter, which is what we want to do. And you want to do this for about 1.5 to 2 turns. It'll be perfect. And then tighten your jam nuts back up, put your hose back on your wastegate actuator, and button everything up, and you'll be done. A quick thing I'd like to mention about this actuator rod adjustment is you want to make sure you have a tune actually built for it. If your tune's not built for this, it's possible they could be requesting more boost to try and get more boost, which does sort of work at first in a tune and at low speeds, and when you first get on the throttle it does work, but when you're running out and the wastegate's open, you actually create less boost. So if somebody's requiring a ton of boost and you do this, you might get that much boost, and it might put you into a detonation mode, limp mode possibly. So you want to make sure that you have tunes properly set up, that make sure that they're solid, as ours are at Aftermarket Assassins, so that you're not overrunning your turbo and the means of your engine on pump fuel or whatever fuel you are running.